Okay, let's do one more example of a test for association. So in this case, we have children randomly assigned into two groups. One went to preschool and the other one did not. And years later, they looked at the high school graduation rates. So we want to test whether preschool attendance and high school graduation are associated with each other. So that's just clear as day stated to us that we're using a test of association. So is this a test of homogeneity or independence though? So it's like refine it a little bit more. What I notice in this one is that we have two groups, right? So they sample some preschoolers and look at their high school graduation rates, and then they sample some no preschoolers and look at their graduation rates. So on this one, I would say this is a test of homogeneity because there are two independent samples being taken. Right, after we've decided on that, we're going to write our null and our alternate hypothesis. The null is going to be that these two qualities have nothing to do with each other, so that, preschool, I'm just going to say pre-K and high school graduation are not associated. And then my alternate will be that these two things are associated. Now, the way that they gave me this original data, I do not know what my expected counts are. So I would need to find that using StatCrunch first to see if I meet the criteria. So I have loaded this up in StatCrunch. If you search my name and look for preschool, you can pull up that original chart. Now, if I want to find those expected counts, remember that one's under Stat, Tables, Contingency with Summary. I'm looking at these two variables. This is my label, was the first column. And I want to display the expected counts. Notice right below that display though, it says hypothesis tests, and notice that the chi-squared test for independence is default selected. That is where you find this test for association. And again, it's called a test for independence regardless of whether you have labeled it independent or homogeneity. So we run that test. I'm running it right now, but I'm not going to look at the results right now. All I'm looking for are those numbers in parentheses. So I'm going to take those 4 parenthesis values and I'm going to record them back on my note sheet. The ones that were in parentheses were 30.27, 25.73, 29.73, and 25.27. And if you add all those up, you should get the same totals, and we do. So we know that we calculated them correctly. And the reason why I would need to do that is so that I can answer part D. Does the large sample size condition hold? Well, are all of the ECs larger than 5? Yes, they are. Now I've technically already ran the test, so all I need to do is look back and record these values. So let's see, I've got like 4.76 and 0.0291. Oops, sorry, 4.76 and 0.0291. So I can conclude here that since P is less than 0.05, reject the null. I'm rejecting the idea that they are not associated. So I find for my final conclusion that they are. So I might say that pre-K and high school graduation are associated.